Do you have a background in interior design?
Yeah, I studied interior design in Canberra, and then I went into selling curtains retail, and because I had a sort of an intrinsic understanding of the sewing side of things. I wasn't sewing at that stage, and then I just discovered that I was using other workrooms to make my curtains, and I was never pleased with the result, and that's what led me to making them myself, because I know that I can depend on the quality of the outcome. And for instance, this cloth that we're using today is really expensive, so to have somebody trashing a piece of cloth like this is just, it's terrible. So that's why I started doing them myself, because because I just can. I've seen the job, I've seen the house, I know the client, I've intuited what's happening, what's going on in their mind and their heart in relation to the outcome they want to achieve. And if I was just tossing this off to a workroom, they wouldn't have that. They wouldn't be thinking of the client, you know, whenever they're unrolling the cloth. They wouldn't have that room in their mind and everything that's going on in that room and the family that belong there and all that stuff. And that, I think those thoughts while you're working, they translate so clearly into the finished product. This linen, it has the whole thing, the whole curtain. It's very soft and it's a washed one, but the whole curtain has to be ironed before it goes.
You have to iron it first,
Yeah.
and then hang it.
Yeah. So it looks pretty rough at the moment, but and linen's like that. That, you know, that old age scrunchy look.
Must be hard to match the colours.
Yeah, very often it depends on the quality of the print, the screen on it. So a good quality print like this one can have up to 28 different screens. And so what they have to do is every time it's the old silk screening, every time they put down the screen it has to match up exactly to the last one. So that's what a really good quality print, that's what you get, is that beautiful definition and the vibrancy. Yeah.
You like working with linen?
I actually just love fabric. Just love it. Just love it. I just love having a roll of fabric to play with.
What have you been doing recently? What kind of work?
Doing a lot of Roman blinds lately. What else have I been doing? Do a lot of little beautiful things, you know. Somebody, like I've got a client who just every now and then she'll find something and she'll say, "Can you make this for me?" And so little beautiful things, which that's the fun work. But I love doing it, and I just love getting that perfect, you know, result. And sometimes perfection is not even what you're aiming for. It's sometimes if you miss perfection, that's beautiful. It's like in a Persian rug, but it has to be intentional, not a mistake. So what I'm doing now is I'm cutting according to the pattern. Now this pattern might not be exactly square on the cloth, but what I've done is I've saved the client quite a lot of money by reducing the fabric requirement, which means I've got no room for error. So that's why I'm spending the time to get that exactly right.
And that would take a long time to learn.
I think it's like you're sort of born with it. But there is a lot about cloth that is experience. So yeah, all cloth behaves differently. And yeah, so cloth is a lot of experience, I think. But yeah, but I've been sewing since I was a little tiny wee thing at my grandmother's knee. So I never imagined that I'd grow up to be a sewer, but that's what happened. That's what happened. There's a lot of maths in it, I think, too. Getting the pleats beautiful on the cloth. So this one's a bit of a random print, but if I was doing more of a geometry, what I do is try and pleat it respecting that pattern that was happening, so that every now and then you would get this rosebud in exactly the same spot across the top of the curtain. This one's for a very relaxed country room, so that's not going to be the case here. It's not, you know, it wouldn't work, but sometimes that's just exquisite. It's right for the client, right for the room. And it makes their heart sing. That's what I love. Yeah, so.
And then coordinates to go with the curtains. You need to come up with strips down below and tassels sometimes. Have you got good supplies?
Tassels, yeah, I've got, lovely library of beautiful, beautiful things. This one is going on exquisite poles, absolutely beautiful hand-painted poles, which is, it took a long time to choose them, and but I think, you know, we've got it, we've nailed it, and it's just going to be beautiful. It's a really aged, been there forever look that we're going for. And so the hand finishing on the pole, the curtain is all hand finished. There's no, you know, tacking machines or anything like that. Everything about this curtain is handmade, and it's the look. It just makes such a different look to something that's just been churned out in a factory by somebody who has to do 10 of those in an hour. Which is commercial reality, but to me beauty's more important.
And what do you like to have them first, the curtains or the wall furnishings? Or does it depend on the client?
Well, usually when I get there,
everything else is decided?
We've got paint, and we've very often got all the furniture. Because life is like collecting all this stuff. Some of it you like and some of it you have to have. Because your mother gave it to you. But, so there's already a story happening by the time I get there, quite often. So it's tying it all together and making the story work, giving it a meaning and bringing all those things in and all those memories that happen in people's rooms. And I love that. I love that rooms are full of memories and family, and, you know, that they're not just squares with stuff in it. There's so much more to a room. There's so much heart. So that's what we've got to do. We've got to sort of bring it all together and just make it so when the kids come home for Christmas they go, "Oh Mum, that's absolutely beautiful."
Do many people make their own curtains now?
Yeah, people still do. It is, I have to say, it is, anyone who can sew, basically, can make curtains. That's it. There are tricks of the trade. There are ways that we do things that we know, tried and true over the years, works, and it will last. That's what you're going to battle with if you make them yourself. And having the space to do it. If the normal, ordinary person, ordinary Mrs. Jones went home to make these curtains, she'd be doing it on the floor, because very few people have a big enough table, and it's so hard. It's so hard on your back and on your legs and on your curtains. So it's so cheap to get them made. So why not just get them made, and they're beautiful and they're perfect.
And how do you package them for delivery?
Okay, so when this is finished, when this curtain is finished, it will be hung on a room that I've got, which is specially for hanging curtains and checking quality. And then I dress it, so I make sure it's going to go out exactly, perfectly. And yeah, just make sure that it's absolutely flaw-free. Then it's packaged in its dress state, so that when it actually leaves here, it doesn't leave here folded up, arrived with creases. It leaves here beautifully dressed, so it gets absolutely to the room where it's supposed to be, looking gorgeous. So yeah, I've seen so many curtains over the years, not mine, but so many curtains thrown in the back of an installer's truck. They're just thrown there, they're just folded and thrown, and it could be hot and sweaty in that plastic bag, and all sorts of things. And I'm very precious about the way my curtains leave and arrive. So yeah, I think that's very important. It's getting a lovely.
Are you there when they get home?
Oh, absolutely, I'm there, and I'm there because I need to make sure that it looks the way we want it to look, and I dress every curtain on site when I'm there, and I make sure everything's perfect before I leave. So it's not just a fitter that comes along and goes whack whack, there you go, where's my money. It's right to that moment. I'm thinking about the job. I'm thinking about what's going to make my client's heart sing, right up until that moment where it's completely finished and the front door is closed behind me. So that's really important. I want people to wave me goodbye and have a smile on their face and just think, wow, wow. That's what I'm looking for.